So, guys, it's David here, and it's currently day 351. I hope you guys are doing fabulously well and are doing better than yesterday. Now, we all know we can condition our physical body to take on more stress, to tolerate more pain. Some of us know that when we train our muscle through hypertrophy, we can condition our muscles to take on more weight, to take on more stimulus. Therefore, we can improve and lift heavier weights to gain bigger muscles. Now, this is the same for our mind. However, we also know that if we don't train that physical muscle for a long period of time, what happens? Our tolerance starts to atrophy, meaning our ability to handle the amount of stress we send to those muscles will start to diminish. We will feel weaker if we don't train those muscles frequently. We will feel weaker to what we prior could manage because we had trained those muscles under those stressful senses. Now, the reason I'm talking about this because we can train our mental muscles the same way. If we put our mind through those purposeful periods when we condition it to become stronger, our tolerance to stress, to pain, to mental fatigue will increase. But there's something that I have overlooked, and I believe a lot of us have too, that we forget. Over time, if we had taken a holiday, perhaps we stopped working on this project like I have, yes, and perhaps we have just gotten complacent. And then what happens is our ability to handle the mental stresses start to atrophy. Our ability to focus starts to diverge. We start to watch YouTube shorts and then we reprogram our mind to attract short bursts of attention bursts, and we no longer can sit at our desk and focus at something for like a 4 hour stretch. We just no longer feel like we can because our mind muscles becomes distracted easily once we have reprogrammed it. Now this happens, we become very discouraged. We become discouraged quickly, thinking that we no longer possess the skills or we are getting older that our attention is starting to diminish. And when we no longer can stay focused at something, we feel discouraged quickly. We think that we no longer have the abilities to focus, or we start to blame our age, thinking that we got older, therefore our memories are getting poorer. The reason it is getting weaker and not getting stronger is because we are not deliberately practicing our mental strength. We are not putting ourselves in this uncomfortable environment to hypertrophy that muscle. And knowing this, that your memory have gotten weaker, or perhaps your focus, attention span have gotten weaker, can discourage us. And sometimes if you come back from a long holiday, you'll feel like that you no longer have the grit in the game. But in reality, you have just lost your consistency. You have just lost the times where you have your mind to your control, where you had the focus and discipline to sit down and stay focused because you have trained your mind to make that easy. So going back to whatever you are doing after a long break is going to be hard. You are going to be distracted. You are going to have these urges, and you are going to not be able to be as clear and intentional like you had been when you had been consistent, when that momentum was still going. And this is normal. But please do not be discouraged like I have been, thinking that I had no longer have this ability to focus. Although I know this simply isn't true, when you go back into work or when you go back into self improvement with no other motivation than just pure discipline, you start to realize that there's a lot of resistance. But the good thing is, because you have done the hard work before, I assume you have formed these neural synapses, these memories, although they may have been weakened by just going back into what you had done before for a week or two. You realize that you are enlightening these synapses connections in your brain, these little roadmaps or blueprints that you had laid out already, and you are simply just enlightening them once again, and you will remember how to do things, you'll remember how to focus and how to perform at your best in a much quicker amount of time. Because when you forget something, although you may think you have lost it all, the truth may be our mind muscle connection is wondrous, right? We can remember things from a long time ago if we just start to pick it up again. However, it is always picking up what we had left off the most difficult thing to do. But in the first week or two, it is the most difficult because we feel like we had already given up on this pursuit, on this project of life. Therefore, picking this up is meaningless to us because we had already on a conscious level and subconscious level given up on this thing. So either you will be reluctant, you will be resisted to pick up the things you have given up in life. That is perhaps the most hardest thing, is to not try something new, but to pick yourself back up when you have given up on something that was once your dream. That is the most difficult thing for anyone to do. But I can assure you, picking up something you have left off, after just getting through the first week or two, you will find everything much easier. Your memories will start to come back, your discipline, your focus, everything will start to light up like a Christmas tree. But bear in mind, the first week or two it is going to be hard, but it will not be forever. And certainly, you don't want to live a life of regret. You don't want to live a life where you look older than you are simply because you are living mindlessly and meaninglessly internally. You see, our physical appearance is merely a reflection of our internal state. So if you're having wrinkles, if you feel like your face is getting more puffy, if you feel like your hair is receding, although they may actually be receding, the truth is you only view yourself in that way because your internal state is withering away. And over time, yes, you are going to lose hair. Over time, you are going to form pimples and wrinkles, but just know all this is irreversible if you enlighten the soul and let your mind control your body. Because your mind was always in control, but you have subconsciously allowed your body's urges to take control of your mind. So, this is a mistake I have made, and I realized that the only way to overcome this is to pick up the things you had left off and expect that when you do, you're not going to be perfect. So let your ego down. Don't expect yourself to bench 100 kilos when you had not gone to the gym for the whole year, right? Be amazed if you can just do half that weight, and even then you'll be sore. So just imagine going in this mentally. If you have this project, if you have this work, don't think that you can just start doing it right away where you had left off before, but understand that perhaps you have gotten a bit rusty, you have gotten a little bit clunky. So start off what you know. Still be confident in yourself, but know that you won't pick up everything on the first day back at work. But eventually, everything will start to refresh and your memory will be much clearer and brighter. With that being said, this is all I have to say for today. And I do hope you guys had learned something from this. But if not, like always, I'll be here for you guys tomorrow. But until then,